All right, so as people arrive, we're just going to get people to head on over to the chat bar and say hello, leave us a comment, let us know that you're here. And then I'll do a little bit of explaining of who we are, and then I'll pass it off to Osamu, who's going to be hosting this seminar. So my name is Elise. I work for TCC Canada, and if you don't know who we are an A to Z business solution providers. So we do everything from virtual office spaces all the way up to permanent office spaces and everything in between. So co-working, meeting room space, anything you need to run your business, we're there for that. So we currently are going to be doing a lot of virtual stuff, obviously, because a lot of people are at home now. But we offer a lot of business service or virtual services such as phone service if you need someone to answer your phones, or we do mailing address, so business address. We give you our professional business address to use for your own business so that it helps you build a professional image online. We also do meeting spaces, so if you need to be meeting with people, you can come into our space just to book for an hour, 2 hours a day, whatever you need, and then virtual or permanent office spaces. So we're hosting webinars every couple of days now during the week just to help businesses get through this tricky time. We know that this is a little bit of an unknown, unprecedented situation for a lot of companies. So we're bringing on everybody who can help you kind of move forward in your business, whether that be online or after the crisis has ended. So we've got Osamu here who's going to be helping us with a very current issue, I'm sure, of trying to be productive at home. I'm sure many of you are actually at home with children, families, and trying to get things done. And that can be really tricky. So I'll let Osamu take it away now. And if you have questions throughout the seminar, just leave them in the chat bar and we'll get to them at the end. Okay, so Osamu, it's all you.
All right, thanks, Elise. My name is Osamu Wakabayashi from Zen Ideas. So we're gonna be talking about how to stay productive while working from home. So lots of us are here today. We've been working from home. I think this is the third week in this situation. So just to let you know that my kids are both in high school, and then here in Ontario, they cannot go to school. School has been closed. So they are upstairs. I'm working in the basement today, and then they might accidentally come behind me. So I apologize in advance. So let me quickly introduce myself. So my name is Osamu Wakabayashi. I'm working for Zen Ideas. Now, so I have a small web agency company. So we do web design and then developing the digital marketing strategy and the implementation. But we work only for non-profit. Now, let me just quickly introduce myself. Beside business and work, once again, I have 2 teenagers, and it's really difficult these days to get some photos, group the family photos. So this is the kind of best photo I've taken. That was last year. We had a big party, and then so we were able to yeah, take the family photo in the booth, photo booth. And then, so it's kind of funny. It's now you see the bicycle. So we did some biking. So I like outdoor activity like camping, and then biking, running, and I would like to play tennis as well. Now, so just quickly, let me just switch my screen. So once again, now, just quickly, I like you guys to, now do you guys see my screen, says name, and or it's kind of big picture? Elise?
Yep, we see it.
We see it at the whole, okay, good. So, so in the chat box, so I like to, let me just introduce ourselves. People who are here today, just quickly in the chat box, tell us your name and which industry do you work for, whether nonprofit or small business or consultant. And then I don't need to know exactly, where do you work. I don't need to know your organization or company name, just which industry. So this helps me for the next 45 minutes. And then your position, whether you're an employee or employer or manager or director who manage teams, just let me know. Let's give ourselves like a minute, and then let's throw in the chat box. Perfect, okay. Okay, no profit, okay. Good. So let's move on. Now, how did you find working from home? So what's your biggest challenge? Once again, you can put that in your chat box. What is your biggest challenge working from home? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's take a look at cons. Now, the problem of working from home is, so there's no physical separation between work and the leisure. And it's easy to distracted or misread cues via electronic communications like email. So we use lots of emails these days. And you have to make the effort to get a change of scenery. Now, for example, I just grabbed a coffee from the upstairs kitchen. It's not like you can walk around the building, you can go to the coffee shop. None of this, happening right now. So it's kind of difficult to, if you work in a house, apartment, you're looking at the same thing every day. Now, on the other hand, so there's also a good thing about working from home. Now, as you can see, there's no commute or any expense, right? So you can save a lot of time, and you have flexibility to take care of other things like appointment and other stuff. And there are fewer interruptions from meetings and chit chat. So those are kind of pros. Now, lots of people are having a hard time. There's lots of problems. So I think I'm going to talk about 3 things today in the next 45 minutes. So the first is the problem number 1 is loss of productivity, okay? And then the problem number 2 is difficult to manage and maintain accountability. And the third, difficult and lacking communication. So I'm going to be addressing the solution to those 3 problems. Sounds good? And also I'm going to be talking about a different online tools that you can use and you can implement while you're working from home. Now, these are tools I use daily basis, but I don't have time to go through every single tools. But I'm going to be talking about those 4 tools today. One is Asana, that's a project management tool, and the Zoom meeting, so we're using right now. And the Calendly, so this is the online booking appointment application. And the Loom, so this is a screencast application. So I'm going to talk about 4 different online tools along this seminar. Now let's dive in. So the first problem is loss of productivity. Now I'm going to talk about 2 things to solve this problem. So the first is a block calendar, and the second is use Pomodoro. All right, so let's talk about blocking your calendar. Now I'm using iCal and Google Calendar. So probably lots of you guys using the same tool. Some people use window calendars and then probably Outlook. So most of us here are probably using the electronic calendar to manage your schedule. And also I'm using, it's called a Calendly. So let me show it to you quickly. So this is a really simple app. So basically, you see calendar, and then March 31st, if I click that. So this ties into my calendar. So I'm open 10:30. So if somebody wants to make an appointment with me, so they can click here, they can make an appointment with me. So once again, so this is synced to my calendar. So as you can see, so Tuesday 31st, I have open space here, 10:30. So what about the open space? It shows on my application. All right, so I can explain this later on, how this works out in my real life. Now, before I talk about blocking your calendar, I like to put this quote here. So this is Stephen Covey, who wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So this is a great book. So one of his book said, so most of us spend too much time on what's urgent and not enough time on what is important. All right. So this is my typical calendar. This was last October 2019. Now, if you don't make any commitment, if you don't make any appointment ahead of time, your calendar is going to look like this. So this is my calendar. Now, I have some commitment much advanced. So I've been taking online courses, and then I have a personal business mentor so that I have to meet every 2 weeks. So I put those commitments to my calendar. So this probably happened like 6 months ahead of time. Then also I have Marketing Friday. So I spend 2 hours every Friday morning to do my marketing activities for take care of my business. And I study in the afternoon, Friday afternoon, 2 to 4 o'clock, 2 hours. Whether I do some research or I take any online course or I go to seminar. So this happens every Friday afternoon. So I block in my time. So this is really important for me and for my business. Now, the next one is I got some pink stuff, about 2 hours. So keeping my health in good shape is important for my life. So this is top priority for me. So, so that was October. So I play tennis almost every day. Or if I don't play tennis, I go to the gym. So I block my time almost every day for a couple of hours. Again, based on my priorities. So your priority could be different than mine. Now, the next one is, so I book appointment with my client or prospect. So this happens usually Monday. And then, so I book those activities probably a week advance. Now, another priority for me is, as you can see, this Thursday, reinvention work. So that's my business. So I do this, this is the business strategic planning meeting. So this happens every quarter. So I block my time for that. And then as you can see, the Tuesday at 5 o'clock, so it says admin for Colorado trip. I went to business trip that week, and I had to take care of the booking my ticket, booking my hotels. Once again, lots of people do small tasks like that, like whenever they have time. But I think the good habit is even those small tasks, so you block your time ahead of time. So usually my calendar looks like this about a week before. Now, then I fill out my project time. So I do web design and web development, and then something like prep work for workshop, making keynote, making presentations. So these work are for my client, and then I get paid. So so this kind of schedule, I make this schedule before Sunday. So I usually do that Sunday morning. So before I come into work Monday, my schedule is already booked up almost. Now, then I send my client or my prospect, say, if you want to meet, I can help you. Just go to my Calendly link and book an appointment with me. And then they pick whatever my available times and they book. So then my calendar is going to look like it's filled in the meetings and project and then what's important for me. So now, so this is, again, like my priority and my activity got changed in the last 3 weeks. Of course, I won't be able to play tennis. My work schedule got a little bit changed as well. So this is my work schedule for this week. So as you can see, like now I walk with my wife every morning, like 8 o'clock. So I do that every day, because she's working from home as well. And then I go running with my daughter. I do that an hour each day. And then family lunch, because my kids are upstairs and my wife is working from home. So we decide to take advantage of this this moment to have lunch together. So once again, I block those things in advance. So next week as well, so that my client cannot make an appointment with me during that time. So once again, most of us spend too much time on what's urgent and not enough time on important things. I have another quote here, so this is what I like as well. Gain control of your life and you'll gain control of your life. So that's John Landis Mason, who invented the mason jar. So now, since we have a small group of people, and then any questions? About blocking time. So you can go ahead and unmute, or you can throw in the chat box. Okay, good. All right, so let's move on. Next one is I want to talk about the beat the clock. And they use Pomodoro. So basically you set the timer. So each tasks. So I work 25 minutes and then take 5-minute break, and 25 minutes and then 5-minute break. So that's my Pomodoro. Wow. And then, so I used a little app called the Timing 3. So basically this is timer application on your desktop. And of course you can use a little timer, or you can use Siri, or you can use Alexa to set the timer too. So you don't need any fancy app. But I think the key is set the timer. And it's really surprised. I use 25 minutes, and then so much thing you can get done in 25 minutes if you really stay focused. Now, another thing is keeping a timer is you can track your productivity. Again, so I'm a self-employee, and then it's really important to keep track or log what I'm doing. So this is, I have a little application to keep track of my time. And something like developing wireframe, it took 1 hour. So that's 2 Pomodoro. Like weekly meeting, half an hour meeting, I log that. That's half an hour. And then what else? Some design work, presentation work, takes 3 hours. So that 3 Pomodoro. So I keep all track of my productivity. So that's also a good thing about, keeping timer. And actually last night I was working on a project, even though Sunday night, I had a free moment and I'm working on an existing project. And then I forgot setting a timer on, and I kept working. I probably worked only over 2 hours, but I couldn't really keep track because I didn't really set timer. Sometimes you really focus into it. You spend too much time, but you don't really know how much work you get it done. So that's why I always set the timer so that you can keep track of your work. So that's how you can solve the loss of productivity. So there are probably many ways to do that, but those 2 techniques, it really helped me a lot in the last 10 years. So any questions?
Oh, sounds good to me.
Good. Okay, let's move on. So let's talk about next, how to manage and maintain accountability. Now I'm going to talk about I'm talking about project, how to manage project. And most of you guys, work project as a team. Now, speaking of project, first you have to identify tasks, right? Now, here's a kind of small mini project, hosting webinar. This is a hosting webinar. So there are a bunch of tasks we have to undertake. Pick a date and time, pick a topic, create a Zoom link, and create a landing page for promotion. And even there are subtasks, writing the content, designing the landing page, and testing a registration form, and then, putting them on a social media platform. There's lots of lots of tasks. Now, also, when we talk about project, there's also deadlines. So each task has target date. We have to get certain tasks done by certain date. So project looks like that. And then if you're managing the tasks and deadline, we can use to-do list, something like things. This is the application. Basically, this is a to-do list with calendar kind of functionality. You can manage that. But most of the project, we also have to identify who's responsible for, right? It's not just yourself. And then most of it, even like a small project, you assign somebody to some tasks. So it looks like this, right? And then, especially if we are managing project from home, people working remotely, we need some application. And I use called Asana as a project management. Now, let me quickly show that to you. Now, so this is Asana. Let me blow this up. So I got kind of sample project, hosting a webinar project. And you can do list view like that, or I prefer using board view like this. And I create 3 columns. The first column, to do, and the second column, in progress, and the third, done. It's pretty simple, right? And so let's say create a new task. So just create hit button. If you can, double click, and then let's say post the webinar on our Facebook page, right? And then you can assign to myself, or you can assign to somebody else here. Maybe she can do that tasks, and you can set the deadline. Maybe she has to do that by Thursday, and that's it. Now, having this kind of project management tool, so she get notification, this task and then deadline, right? And then, so for example, so he has to, is there anything? Yeah, so I have the design landing page by next week. And let's say if I did it, you can just move that in progress, and then check with my team if that's everything's okay, and then get things done. So I move that to done. All right. So by the end of the project, so those tasks get moved to on the right hand side. So it's pretty simple technique we use our company. So that's Asana. So by the way, Asana is free. You don't have to pay for it. But if you have over 15 members in your team, so you have to pay. But if you're a small company like myself, you can use for free. And so keep everything accountable. So we do weekly meeting call, whether internal team or with my client too, if there's ongoing project. So I use Zoom. You can use Google Hangouts or Join Me, any other conference call tool. And simply, most of check-in meeting is really like 10 to 15 minutes. We are asking ourselves 4 simple questions. So what have you done last week? Why didn't you do last week if somebody couldn't do it? And then the third question is, what are you doing this week, this upcoming week? So we usually have this conversation Monday morning. And if something's delayed, how can we adjust our project schedule? So that's how we deal with our project and then make things move forward. It's the same thing. Like I hire a lot of the remote worker too, like consulting company. So we use the same technique. So use to-do list and then check-in call every week. So that's how we tackle and manage and maintain accountability. Any questions? Okay. The last topic is how can we manage lacking communication? Now, in terms of communication, we use email, phone, probably text. Now, probably we don't use text so much. Now, here's kind of stats. I want to put this on the slide here. So this is the information percentage retained. Now, if we are just talking on the phone about something, information just retain only 10%. Now, if you send a text, in that case, email, and then the other person read it, the information retain about 20%. Now, the one powerful method of communication is oral communication with visual aid. Now, this is good. In a webinar, I can use my voice and I can put my visual aid, like slides. But you cannot really do that our daily communication, right? It's not like we are in the office, we can grab coffee, we can bring our colleague and have a chat, let's take a look at this, my new app or new design. So you cannot really do that anymore, maybe for the next couple of weeks. So as I said before, I use a to-do list and then whether I use Zoom meeting to do, show my screen, or with the to-do list and over the phone, and then set our next meeting. Now, you probably think that, so this works for weekly meetings. So what about our daily communications, right? I think all of us here using lots of emails. The problem these days is we get so many emails in our mailbox, especially, in the last couple of weeks, and probably next, in a couple next weeks too. Now we can use attachment, you can send an image along with your email message, that create a better communication. Now, what about this? I said oral communication and with visual aid. How can we send this? Can we send this? Now, we'll talk about oral communication and visual aid. I think we can create video, right? So videos like that, you can do visual aid with your voice. Now, but I don't think we've been using this tool, sending video or emailing video to your team or your client. And there's a great app for that. This is called Loom. Now, I use Loom a lot. So Loom is, so basically screencast. By the way, it's free. So I sent this email the other day. So my client is having a hard time finding out how to use Google Analytics for certain tasks. So I sent him a video. Let me just show it to you. So you create a video and you just share the link. Now, do you hear the voice over the video? No? Okay, let me just 1 sec. I think, let me just stop share screen here. And then we can do this.
Okay, so you can just go to behavior, okay, and then site content and all pages. And you should be able to find the specific page you want to
I could have sent him
check out. So I'm going to just check this page as an example.
Step 2, do this. Step 3,
and then you see this secondary dimension. You should be able to find this device category. So if not, I think go to users, and then there should be a device category right here. Just click that. And it shows you the data, what percentage, how many page view, got the desktop and the mobile, a tablet, so forth. All right, so if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, so you can just go to behavior.
All right. So I use a lot of this tool for my technical support. And then, and he, immediately he sent me back saying, oh, that's great, I got it. It's only 50 seconds video, and they save my time and they save his time as well. Now, another way is, so you can, it's not just screen casting. Also, if you have video camera, so you can, you can record yourself and send a video message too. In the last couple of weeks, especially, the clients I haven't heard, and I just want to check in because I cannot really make a phone call because they are not really physically in the office. But I send, like video message to them. Something like, let me just show that to you quickly. So that's Lou. Yes, I think this one. Catherine and Matt, so how things are going with you guys? I called your office earlier, but obviously you guys are not working at the office. I just want to check with you guys, see how things are going. If anything I can help you with, just let me know. Okay, so my schedule is pretty open this week and next week, so. Use my Calendly link to just a book appointment if you need, and even like just to have a grabbing coffee with the Zoom chat like this will be could be helpful too. So don't be shy. Just let me know if anything I can be your help. All right. So I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. So one thing is, so you can send that kind of message too. It's not like sales and technical support. You can use this tool as kind of re-engage with your client and stakeholders too. So once again, so this Loom application is free now. So let's see. Actually, one more thing I'd like to show you. Now we have little time. Now we talked about the Calendly and we talked about the Zoom meeting. Now, Calendly is giving the free kind of premium feature until kind of responding to this crisis until June 30th. And then, so this is really cool. So go to calendly.com and it's free. So you can connect the Calendly account and the Zoom meeting. So let me show that to you quickly. So this is new things. This just happened last week. And then, so let me go to, so let's say if somebody wanted to make an appointment with me, let's take a look at, so I got a bunch of availability next Tuesday. So let's say 10 o'clock, confirm. So I'm gonna just put my name. And I'm gonna just put my personal account. And then schedule. Okay, so let's take a look at the email here. So I don't know if you can see it. So I get the notification right away, and then it sent me my Zoom link. It generated a Zoom link, right? So this is because I made an appointment with myself. And then let's take a look at my Zoom account. So that was April 7th, next Tuesday. So let's take a look. Should be, yeah, here we go. So here, Tuesday, April 7th. So it's automatically generated Zoom link for me. And next one, let me show you my calendar then. So next, so here we go, right here. So Tuesday, April 7th at 10:30. So already filled my calendar as well. So it's already syncing Calendly and Zoom and my calendar. So if somebody make an appointment, so I don't have to do anything. and you can set a reminder for yourself as well. So that is free until June 30th. So you should try that on. Okay, so I think that's all. So we talked about how to deal with loss of productivity and difficult to manage and maintain accountability and difficult or lacking communication. Now I'm gonna skip that section, and so if you have any questions, I can answer that for you guys.
So I have a question.
Sure.
What would be your suggestion for people who are working from home with family around? Maybe they have young kids or they've got a busy household. What would you suggest for them in finding that balance and productivity?
With a family member, so I work with family. I got 2 teenagers, and then my wife is working as well. And then I think working with family member depends on how old your kids are. Get the distraction, and then I simply tell them they cannot interrupt me. Something like now, they know that I'm doing webinar, so I just told them that they cannot really come to my, come downstairs unless, like any fire is going on upstairs. Yeah. So, yeah, I know if, we are close family members, and then we feel kind of ourselves that, we can interrupt any time. But yeah, it's just just have make some rules, even though among the family, that when dad is working, cannot really interrupt me unless it's urgent. Yeah, but we have time for you guys for having lunch together, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Great. Well, thank you so much. That was very helpful. And we will be posting this online so that even more people can use the productivities that you shared. I'm sure they're going to be very useful for a lot of people. And I think that concludes our webinar series.
Good. All right.
Perfect.
Thanks, Elise.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.